This is Will Hicks with the OCR Report. Can I ask a kindness? We are looking for new members of the OCR Report. We want OCR to be here for the next 100 years. The OCR Report is helping make that happen with race live streams, podcasts, race result graphics, and the best race photos in the sport. For just $5 a month, you can help us support the sport. That's less than a cup of coffee or a month of Strava. $5. Sign up right now at patreon.com/the OCR Report. That is patreon.com/the OCR Report. You are too kind.
Hello and welcome to OCR Talk. I've got a pretty good view out my window here, so I'm hoping that you can get to see some of the surrounding area. I am leaving Mammoth Lakes, and the scenery here is just absolutely gorgeous. The entire ride, people talk about it being difficult to get here, to go to races here. That was a big topic during OCRWC. It was a big topic for this weekend for Super World Champs. The entire ride here from Reno, 3 hours, gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous the entire way. In the past, I had ridden through the night, and I missed a lot of it. But this time I got to drive during the day and just getting to see all of it. And it's just so good. Oh, my goodness. So good. And they just had some snow come through, so you can see, once we get to the point where you can see the peaks over here, you'll be able to see the snow on the top. And then there was some snow on the course, which was really cool. I didn't do the beast. I tried to slow down a little bit. I've had a very busy September, traveled every weekend through this weekend. This is my first weekend. Next weekend will be my first weekend not traveling since the beginning of September. So it's been busy. It's been, let's see, what did I do? We covered the Trifecta World Championships in West Virginia. And then the weekend right after that was the Pan Am Champs. And then the weekend after that, I went down to Louisiana to go support a friend, pro BMX, flatland BMX rider Terry Adams. He had a documentary called The Road Home that got released, and it did a showing of it, which was really cool. Now you can start to see the snowy mountain there. It's pretty awesome. And then so I drove that trip. I didn't fly, but I drove that trip, 8-hour drive both ways, and it was very quick. But then the week after was the 100-miler Sangre de Cristo in Colorado. And if you've listened to the last episode, then you know that I didn't complete that race. I did 86 miles, and it feels like it's just so close. But man, the elevation, the altitude, not the elevation. I don't think the elevation bothered me that much, but the altitude was whipping me. So I plan on going back next year and give it another go. See if I can do whatever possible things I can to help with the elevation. I had a lot of bathroom issues, so I know I'll be taking lots of either Imodium or Pepto, and those are things that I'll be testing out throughout the year. But one thing that I know is that I don't plan on putting training as hard next year. I trained really hard this year, put in a lot of miles, and it ended up leaving me where I went into the race not excited to do it. And when you go into a race like that where you're going to suffer at some point, I think it's good to be kind of removed from it. So that way you don't have this I'm tired of it. Like I've been in this place of just feeling like trash for hours and I'm tired of it already. Like I need a clean slate. Like I haven't felt like this in a long time. And I know that I'm not going to feel like this for a while later. So I need that buffer between, I think. So that's the plan. Next year, on top of that, I do plan on being more stringent about my race coverage schedule. And that's partly because of this whole thing too. Like I need time to do other things. I need time to spend time at home. And so that's the hope. Definitely going to keep covering races next year. Just going to try to stick to one a month and no back-to-back weekends. So if like one's at the end of the month, like World's Toughest Mudder is in June, then it's at the end of the month. So the very next weekend won't be a race coverage, but the weekend after that could be. So like July 8th or 10th or 14th or whatever. This weekend was the Super World Championships in Mammoth Lakes. Same venue that we were at the past couple of years for OCR World Championships. And the first year of OCR World Championships, the mountain that we were on, you kind of went up and around to get to the venue, like where the village is. That's kind of in one side, but you had to go up and you had to go. It was kind of like it was just separate from everything, and it just didn't make things quite as easy to go grab a bite to eat and then come back because you had to drive not way down, but you had to drive down the mountain. Second year was same spot that they had the Super World Championships. So it was kind of like the village kind of like extends up the mountain, and then there's a whole bunch of condos and Airbnbs and hotels. And right where the base of the lifts are is where the race venue was. So it was there again, which is nice. Like I had a hotel that was like right at the end of that strip. So I was able to just walk over to the venue. It was great. The drive here, like I said, it's beautiful. It's easy. It's 3 hours, but it's easy. It's an easy drive. It really is. Like you get on these kind of long highways. There are sections that kind of wind up and through the mountains. And there's just beautiful views the entire way. The mountain today did have some snow on it, like I said, but because my weekends have been so busy, I chose to fly in this morning instead of Friday night, and instead of running the beast and doing an all obstacle video, I wanted to just give myself a little bit more time at home. So I kind of just did an in and out for this one. So I came in Saturday morning, and I got to go do a little course preview, ran up to go see where Ape Hanger was, and it was not on the course. So I had a nice little 3.5 mile run yesterday, just doing kind of like the outside of the Super Loop. I didn't go do the up and downs that they have that go down into the festival area. But it was a nice little run. Yesterday, weather just felt fantastic. Of course, that was midday, 2 o'clock-ish. And today, so the snow was up on the higher parts of the course. Now, where I ran on the Super, there was definitely like snow around, but we weren't really running through any of it. It was a lot further. It was further up the mountain. So the people that were running the beast yesterday, I saw some pretty good videos. They were up in the snow pretty good. Like they were running through it. I think it snowed Friday. Like it actually was, coming down on Friday. And then, so today there was a section kind of like there was a big loop that goes up the mountain and then around and back down. And in that loop, there was some shaded trail sections that had some snow still in that area. It wasn't thick snow, but it was kind of patchy snow. So you kind of had to run through a little bit of it, but not much. One of the really cool things about the course today was some of the obstacles. So not only did you have, it's the Super World Championships, so it's a World Championship course. Not only did you have Monkey in the Middle and tilting ladders. I'm curious, I haven't actually gotten to do tilting ladders yet because it's not been on any of the courses that I've done an obstacle video for. So, I mean, it doesn't look hard to me. And nobody's really kind of given me a rundown on how it feels. But I have a feeling it's not very hard. It was kind of up a hill this morning. So I'm sure that played a little role in making it a little trickier. But monkey in the middle, yeah, one section of twister, one section of monkey bars, and one section of twister. So not quite like the insane monkey in the middle they had at Pan Am Champs last year, but still pretty good. I don't think it gave many people any trouble. Now, what did give people some trouble was that it was so cold this morning. So like I said, I got in yesterday and it was nice, like really nice. Just temperature was just probably 51, 55 degrees, somewhere in there. Sun was out. Just cool enough, but just warm enough. Just cool enough to start with a shirt on, but warm enough to take it off and still feel good because of the sun. But this morning it was, I'm pretty sure my phone said it was 32. Now the sun rose, dawn was at like 6:30 or so, and the actual sunrise was at 6:55. So by the time the race started at 7 o'clock, which they started a couple minutes late, but by the time the race started at 7 o'clock, the sun was coming up nicely, and it was warming up pretty quick. Now, there was a lot of shaded sections in this trail, in this course. So those sections were still nice and chilly, and where the obstacles were in the shade, like particularly Bender, was icy. So the athletes were saying as they were going through, it was very, very slick. And I think Eugenio almost slipped off, and his dismount looked like he come close to falling and hurting himself. Thankfully he did. But everybody was taking their sweet time over it. Definitely nobody was rushing through that one. Even like the Hercoist, the sandbags on the Hercoist, you could see they had frost on them. So I don't know if they were like waterlogged. I don't think they would have been, but they probably were not. They definitely looked heavy. I'll say that much before I get to the race itself. One last thing about the course that was really cool is that they had carries within carries. So they had, carries. They had the bucket carry, had the Hercoist in the middle of it. So you just had to throw your bucket down and do the Hercoist, pick it back up, and keep going. And then down in the festival area towards the end, you had a sandbag carry, the pancake sandbags, and you had the Atlas carry in the middle of it. You did the majority of the sandbag carry before you got to the Atlas carry, and then you had like another, 30 yards or so to go put the sandbag up after. So that was cool. It's cool to see, it's always nice to see them do some unique stuff. Even if they're going to keep the same obstacles and keep that stuff pretty steady. Something to just change it up. Something to keep people on their toes. Something to make it unique. Something to gives people something to talk about. It's awesome. The course started up the same hill that the course started for OCRWC last year. So very steep climb right off the bat. And then once you do that climb, do a few obstacles, you come right back down to the festival area, hit the rope climb and maybe a wall, and then you head back up the mountain. And then back up the mountain, there was a pretty gnarly barbed wire crawl. Like by the time we got there, Joshua Reed was in the lead, and Eugenio close behind him. And I they dropped me, obviously. So I was a little ways back trying to capture the people coming through monkey bars. And by the time I climbed that hill to get up to the barbed wire crawl, they were still on it. Like, that's how long it was. And it was uphill, and it was rocky, and it was low. It was just a gnarly barbed wire crawl. Now, athlete-wise, we had Joshua Reed, Eugenio, go. Oh, it's been too long. Eugenio, shoot, I can't remember his last name. Sorry. Angel Quintero from Mexico as well. Manuel Defoe. Matteo from Italy. Tyler Veerman. Now, something happened to Tyler Veerman that I didn't catch when I was walking through the barbed wire crawl. I'm pretty sure he was in there in the mix with the rest of the guys. Not in first, but maybe like fighting for third or fourth. And when I followed people out to go to the next obstacle, which was monkey bars, I was kind of waiting for him, and I waited for the women to come through. The women started a minute behind the men. And I waited for the women to come through, and he never showed up. So something either happened, or he decided that he wasn't feeling it and dropped right there. I don't know. Very interesting. Very interesting. Check his socials later and see what he said. So at that point, they've got a big climb, and then it wraps around and kind of goes downhill for a bit and wraps around and starts coming back down the mountain. Because there's no way that I would be able to keep up with them, I did a cutover, and I had we only had two rabbits, me and one other person. We were going to have Sean Ingram, but he had a work thing come up, so he wasn't able to make it. I know he would have been a good one to put up the mountain with those guys. But nonetheless, I think we covered it well enough. I cut over, and I started heading up the trail to wait for the guys to start coming down. And they came down pretty quick. Like, I really didn't miss much by cutting over. Like, they were coming down the mountain already. Joshua Reed was in first, Eugenio right behind him, and they came down to Bender. And like I said, everybody was having to take their sweet time on Bender. And at that point, you do Bender, and you run through the A-frame, and then you head back down the mountain. And then down at the mountain, and this is stuff that I didn't see. You know, I'll get to see this whenever we do the show. There was Twister, Tilty Ladders, the Chain Carry, and Olympus was down. Olympus wasn't all the way down, so we might not have footage of Olympus, but Olympus was down that way too. Yeah, so I was staying kind of up high, waiting for the women to come through. And then once they do those obstacles, then they head back up to where the A-frame is, and then they go over the A-frame. So after going over the A-frame, same thing. Joshua Reed, Eugenio, and then we had Manuel Defoe and Angel Quintero, like, right together with each other. So they had a pretty good battle going. Going into the bucket carry, I think Manuel opened up a lead on him. Manuel definitely got out of the... Angel's always been known for being one of the stronger athletes. And like I said, those sandbags on the Hercules were heavy. Maybe that's what got him. I don't know. Maybe it was the one he chose. I'm not really sure, but Manuel definitely... Manuel was pulling, standing up, and Angel was having to, like, push into the railing and lean back. So something was either different, or he just didn't feel as strong. I don't really know. But then once those guys headed back down the mountain, And this is where you head towards the finish after the bucket carry. So I waited for the women, and Annie was not far behind. Annie Doobie, Rose Wetzel, and Claudia Bongiovanni. They were probably about a minute apart or so. I think Rose came into the bucket carry, maybe more than a minute. Rose came into the bucket carry about pretty much right after Annie put hers down. And I think Claudia was a little bit further behind than that. So when I stuck with Rose at that point, and once Rose started heading down the mountain, I still didn't see Claudia. I don't think. I could be wrong. And then I started running with Rose down the mountain. And then there's some trails, some good trails, mountain bike trails. And because it was downhill, I guess, she was being a little bit more safe, I guess. So I was able to keep up with her a bit. And then I tried to, there was this one like cut over, like the trail just kind of curved. And I tried to cut over and cut between. And I slipped on something. There was like a little bump in the hill and I slipped on it. And in my hand, I caught myself and something sliced my finger all the way up my finger. It's not too bad, but I got it on camera. So, I fell, but then I held my hand in front of the camera so you could see the blood because it was coming out right away. So got my one fall in for the race. And then by that point, Rose was starting to drop me anyway. It started to flatten out. So she started to drop me. But I continued on, got down there and caught up with her. Next was Helix, Z-Wall. Caught up with her at the Z-Wall. And then it went into sandbag carry was next, I think. The sandbag carry, which you had to loop around, and then you did the Atlas carry during the sandbag carry. And then after the Atlas and sandbag carry was spear throw. Rose made her spear throw, looking like a pro. And I think at that point I had my other rabbit, Andrea. She took Rose in to the finish, and I went back for Claudia. And Claudia was coming down to start the sandbag carry as Rose was leaving the sandbag carry. So by the time I watched Rose do the spear throw and came back, Claudia was on the sandbag carry. So she had a decent, there was decently spaced out. And there's a helicopter with a ladder or something, a rope or something hanging from it off in the distance there. Maybe we'll see what it is. So Claudia finished in third, Annie in first, and Rose in second. For the men, I heard that Angel missed a spear. So I think Hillman and Manuel were still having a good fight all the way through to the spear. So second to last obstacle. Oh, you're going to see it. The helicopter is right over there. And there's something hanging from it. I don't know what. Interesting. But yeah, Angel missed the spear, so Manuel got third. And I don't think that they paid more than 3 deep. So unfortunately, I don't Angel missed the podium. But good battle. I felt like, the men's field. Oh, and then Mateo, I think he came in 6th. I think there was another guy that I didn't recognize that came in 5th. And when you watch the video, the coverage, you'll see this guy on the monkey bars, and he has a nice bit of blood on his back from the barbed wire crawl. So that's the guy I'm talking about. If you happen to see this, hear this first before we see that. What in the world? Like they're using the helicopters to stand up power lines? I don't know what the heck is going on. Yeah, that's a power pole. There's a power pole hanging from a helicopter. Interesting. I guess maybe in a spot where it's easy, maybe it's easier to do that than to get a crane or something. One of those things. Yeah, so I think the race was good. It felt like even for a mountain race, it felt pretty quick. I think for the women, it might have been an hour and a half ish. So pretty fast, even with those big climbs. Of course, it was nice and cold, so people, probably able to move faster without getting wore out as quick. Since it was just me and one other rabbit, Andrea kept her down at the festival area so she got the start. Then they came back for the rope climb, and then they went back up, and then they came back for Twister, Monkey in the Middle, the chains, and tilting ladders. And then she got them when they came back for Helix, Z-Wall. Oh, shoot. Come on. Sandbag carry, Atlas carry, spear throw, slip ball. Yeah, that was the finishing column. So yeah, she was able to capture all that, I believe, and I think it's gonna be one of those races where I'm gonna edit it, and I did put some cameras out because I didn't have a lot of extra time to be able to get back to the airport. 3-hour drive. I didn't put cameras way out on the course. I was really hoping to see ape hanger, but since it wasn't there, it didn't really matter. So I kept the cameras down on rope climb, twister, tilting ladders, spear throw, all that stuff. So may not need to use that footage, but I've got it just in case. So I'll do an edit, and I think there'll be very limited time that we'll have to skip where there was no athletes on camera. Yeah, I think it went pretty well. It was dark when I got out there. I got out there and set up the cameras about 5:30, and I brought my big jacket with me because I knew that, just standing around, setting up cameras, it was going to be cold, and it wasn't going to warm up until the sun came up. So I think it was a good call. I felt great. I felt comfortable. I actually wore tights for the first time, rabbiting a race, and long sleeve shirt as well. And more so just because I knew that there were going to be the times that I was just standing still waiting since I was cutting course. So that was kind of the main reason. And I definitely still sweated a little bit, but I don't think it was crazy amount. So probably a little overdressed, but honestly for having to stand around and wait, especially at the beginning, I climbed up that first hill and then waited up there for them. So I was probably waiting there, maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most, 10 for sure. Because even once they started, I still had to wait for them to climb up to me. So I felt good about that. Transferred the video over, and I've got, I am going to take my son to see WWE on Monday night. So we won't be doing the show Monday night. Probably do it Tuesday night. Tyler Obsession is getting married, I think, this coming weekend. So I think he's not going to join us. I think it would probably just be me and Miles. So yeah. Oh, last bit of information. Normally I get whenever I pick up water for the weekend, normally I grab some snacks too, because I know it's nice to just have something quick and easy to eat before the race starts. And I didn't have anything this morning. I had water, and I took some sodium, and I didn't have anything to eat. So I think, the race was over by 8:30-ish. By the time I got done getting the video off, it was almost 9. and I was pretty hungry. I'd eaten a short rib sandwich down in the village area in the one of these burger joints down there yesterday. So I think that held me through long enough. But what I was really looking forward to was this breakfast sandwich down at the New York Bagel, something and bagel company, coffee and bagel company. I don't know. That I'd eaten there like 3 or 4 times during OCRWC because it was so good. So that I was really looking forward to that. So I got down there and got one of those sandwiches, chorizo, egg and cheese, with a hash brown patty on it. So a hash brown patty, like when I go to Waffle House and I get hash browns, the hash browns I like are the ones that are all crisped up. Like the stuff in the middle that's still white, I don't want to eat that as much. With the crispy stuff, and it's like this hash brown patty that they make is like that all over. It's just cooked so well and so crispy and so good, and their chorizo falls apart, and it's so salty and yummy and a little spicy, but not really, not too bad, and just kind of like it's got a little dripping a little bit of that grease from the chorizo. So good. So good. And a little plug for an extra little plug for them. I asked for it on a croissant, and apparently they were out of the croissants they normally make for a breakfast sandwich. And so I got it on sourdough. It was still really good, but they gave me a little extra croissant dessert thing. Like it was like a croissant with powdered sugar on top and almonds and stuff, and it was very yummy. So that was awesome. I actually get to have a break next weekend, and I say I have a break. Savage Dallas is next weekend. I've got my son, so I won't be able to race myself. I don't plan on covering the race. I need to just give myself a break, just let it happen. But I will take my son out there to let him race, because he loves racing Savage. And yeah, probably film him doing his race and put it up on my personal YouTube. And then the weekend after that is Spartan Blue Mountain. And then I've actually got somewhere in there, I've got another break. I think I got 2 weeks before I got to go to, me and Will Raymond are going to be covering, Mark Jones attempting to break a Guinness World Record for mileage covered rucking in 24 hours. So he's hoping to do 100 miles rucking in 24 hours. And we actually are going to film it. And apparently we're going to do some kind of live stream for it too. And that's going to be in Chicago. So that'll be interesting. We won't be doing as much running, just because we need to make sure that we're capturing the footage, because Guinness needs uncut version of it. Not uncut, but like timestamp wise, we need to have every second captured. And so we'll probably be mounting the cameras on like e-bike or a golf cart. Actually, e-bikes is what it was sounding like it's going to happen. So that'll be interesting. Just kind of cruising along. Won't have to put in a ton of effort. Speaking of not putting in a ton of effort, man, I ate so much this past week after that 86 miles. And honestly, as much as I would have eaten back in the day, I feel like I actually even gone to the doctor for it, just to make sure there wasn't something wrong with my gut. The only issue that they found was that there's a little bit of acid reflux in the bottom of my esophagus. So it could be that I feel. But when I eat too much, I get kind of like this, like it just feels like everything's pressing on itself. I don't know. So it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but it's definitely keeping me from eating more than I want, more than I should, because I want to eat more. But when I do eat a little bit too much, it's kind of uncomfortable. So I stop, which is good. So kind of a little natural, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't eat too much. So, But I did have a couple of days of not eating some sweets that I wanted this week because I knew I had to come out here and still had to run these mountains. So when I get home, grab some cream horns and like some Oreo like cookies, like you get those sugar cookies with the icing on top of them. They got some Oreo ones that are like that, and then they got white frosting on top, and they're so good. So I'm gonna eat those when I get home. I'll tell you that much. Can you still see this? Such a beautiful view. It's really more that way, so you might not be able to see it right now. But we're going to turn at some point, so you should be able to see it. So I'll keep talking until we at least get to that point. Oh man, this year is getting close to being wrapped up though. We've got, like I said, Spartan Blue Mountain is the end of the Canadian series. And then that thing we're doing for Mark Jones is not OCR Report related. I don't know if it will be. It's possible we might have the live stream all on the OCR Report. I'm not really 100% sure. But it's not like this. It's kind of a separate thing. Will is doing it as a gig, and he invited me. Like he asked me to be part of it too. So yeah, and it's not something that OCR Report would really cover anyway, but we've got the YouTube channel, so maybe not. And then early November is the last race in the Savage year. And Savage Race has got, they instead of doing a series this year, they decided to take all their series money and pour it into having payout at every single race. And so they had payouts every race this year, which was awesome. And they are going to have a higher payout for this final race and a qualification. So you have to have at least one elite race this year, Savage Race this year. And the payout is only going up from 1,000 to 2,500, but it's also paying 5 deep, which is pretty sweet. So looking forward to that. Expecting to see some pretty good competition there. Their Florida venue, not the most exciting one. I'd say they always do a pretty good job at the obstacles. It can tend to be hot there. There's not a lot of trail running from what I remember. Well, I take that back because last year there was a lot of bad weather beforehand, so they ended up having to really squeeze in the course because a lot of the area was flooded. So this time I expect, we'll probably, unless it happens again, we will see some of that woodsy areas, see how far out they take them. But it is a relatively flat course. Nothing too crazy. But really looking forward to seeing what the competition is going to be like there. See if everybody comes out. And then lastly, so I think the 100 mile ruck thing, Mark Jones thing, is like the weekend after that. And then, you got one weekend free, and then Thanksgiving, and then beginning of December is the DECA World Championships. So that'll be the last thing we cover this year. DECA World Championships, early December, 3 days of racing there. It's always a good time. I feel like we've possibly got enough rabbits, but wouldn't hurt to have a couple more. We're still kind of far ways out, so still got to confirm with everybody. But I'm also looking for commentators because it's looking like Xander is going to be off doing a marathon somewhere. And Luke is looking like he's going to be one of the head judges, like with Dave. So I think they might actually be working the event and not be available for commentary. So if anybody's going to be there and wants to be part of our commentary team, reach out and we might have a spot for you. Can't make any promises, but Might have a spot for you. Let me know if you're interested. It's a good time. Get to interview athletes after each time and just really follow the races all weekend long. It's really cool. So that is going to wrap it up for me. I had a great time out here. Very quick race. Got to see Joshua Reed again, chat with him. Got to see, obviously, Andy Doobie, Rose Wetzel. Always great to see them. Anel and Eugenio. I hadn't seen them in so long because I didn't cover any of the Mexican Series races this year. So it's great to see them too. Spartan staff that was there. And then just some other random people that, that you see at the races. So yeah, 2 weeks for Spartan Blue Mountain. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe. Save, post. What? All right. I got to do something to wake myself up. Still got a couple hours to go. To you 50 or so people that listen to this podcast, thank you guys. I'm glad y'all appreciate what I'm doing. I know it's not super entertaining, but the fact that you are enjoying the technical side of it enough to keep listening, it's pretty cool. If you see me at a race, let me know. Let me know you listen to the podcast. Because there's only 50 of you out there, so. All right. Thanks for listening. See you next time.